Now, there's global outrage over the killing of innocent civilians in Bucha. Ukraine has accused Russia of war crimes in Kyiv suburbs. Ukrainian President Zelensky has termed all of these killings as a genocide by Russia, but Moscow has referred to Ukraine's version of Bucha killings as a fake attack. Meanwhile, you have US President Joe Biden, who sought a war crime trial against Russian President Vladimir Putin.
On the streets, inside houses, in the fields. When Russian forces retreated from Bucha, a Kyiv suburb, bodies of civilians were found strewn across the landscape. Many of them had their hands tied. Since the withdrawal, horrific images of mass grave sites have emerged. The footage from Bucha has sent shockwaves across the world. Ukraine has accused Russia of war crimes. As outrage builds over war atrocities, Moscow has termed the killings on Kyiv's outskirts a fake attack.
The other day, another fake news attack was undertaken in the town of Bucha in the Kyiv region, after the Russian military had left according to the plans and agreements. Several days later, a fake video was staged that is now being spread through all the media channels and social media by the Ukrainian representatives and their Western patrons.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Monday visited the town and met with the residents. He called the killings a genocide.
It's war crimes that will be recognized as genocide by the world. You are here and you see what has happened. We know about thousands of killed and tortured people with cut limbs, about raped women and killed children. I think that it's more than this is genocide.
Reacting to the images of dead bodies in Bucha, US President Joe Biden once again called Vladimir Putin a war criminal.
You may remember I got criticized for calling Putin a war criminal. Well, the truth of the matter, you saw what happened in Bucha. This warrants him, he is a war criminal. But we have to gather the information. We have to continue to provide Ukraine with the weapons they need to continue the fight. And we have to gather all the detail so this can be have a war crime trial. This guy is brutal. And what's happening in Bucha is outrageous. And everyone's seen it.
Germany, which was accused of being soft on Russia due to its dependence on Moscow for gas supply, has also called the killings a war crime.
The images of the past weekend have once again highlighted a new, brutal dimension of this war, with the most serious war crimes and crime against humanity. And that is why I made it clear over the weekend that we must not only close the remaining loopholes in the sanctions system, but that we must also intensively and rigorously implement this package.
As per international law, civilians cannot be deliberately attacked in a war. Pictures coming from Bucha are appalling and clearly show the violation of the code. But indicting Putin for alleged war crimes is easier said than done. This leads to another question. Are economic sanctions the counter to Putin's alleged atrocities in Ukraine? With Gaurav Sawant in Kyiv, Bureau Report, India Today.
Truly horrifying images that have come to light from Bucha. And this massacre has led to a face-off again between Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine has said that the images and videos emerging from Bucha is clear proof of war crimes. Vladimir Putin and Russia has responded, referring to all of this as a staged performance by the Ukraine government. Beyond that, Ukraine has also said that this was a deliberate massacre carried out by Vladimir Putin on innocent civilians, to which Russia has responded, saying that it's completely a fake attack to undermine Kremlin. They're claiming that that some videos are being put out by Ukraine to send across a certain message and that there's nothing that Russia has to do with this incident in Bucha. Another point that Ukraine made is that these killings will be recognized as genocide according to international law and by every country. So they've sought stricter sanctions also against Russia based on the incident in Bucha. Russia has responded saying that this is merely another provocation by the Ukraine government at a time when Moscow has been talking about de-escalation. So those war of words continue. The question that will be asked is who killed all of those innocent civilians in Bucha. The West is clamoring to try Russia for genocide after these horrifying images emerged from Bucha. Till a few weeks ago, Bucha was a thriving suburb of Kyiv. It was known for its peaceful green surroundings. It's now completely unrecognizable. As you see on your screens, there's something that sums up the horror that's played out in Bucha is how this beautiful city looked just a few weeks ago versus now.
In diesen Stunden erreichen uns furchtbare und grauenerregende Aufnahmen aus der Ukraine. Wir sehen Dutzende erschossene Zivilisten ein Gebiet nördlich von Kiew.
Bucha, a tiny city on the outskirts of Kyiv, has become the site of the most barbaric Russian action in the 40-day war. Russian forces have left a trail of death and destruction as it retreated from the area. The massacre of innocents has shocked the world. Before the Russian invasion, Bucha was a thriving town of 37,000 people. Because of its strategic location close to the capital and the Kyiv-Kovel railway line built in 1898, it was a booming town economically. Many of them are now dead, murdered in a war that Russia claims is to right everything that is wrong in Ukraine. On 2nd April, Ukrainian troops moved further north of the capital Kyiv, taking up positions in the town of Bucha after retaking territory from Russian forces. And this is what they found.
Those people were just walking and they shot them without any reason. Bang. In the next neighborhood, Stekolka, it was even worse. They would shoot without asking any questions.
There were others found crushed inside their cars by the Russian army.
He was a resident. He worked in landscaping. A peaceful, honest person. A smart man who loved to work. And this simply crushed him to death.
Russia has denied the killings, but Bucha bears the brutal marks of Russia's brutality. The United Nations has launched an independent probe into the massacre in Bucha. The West says the horrors committed in the city could lead to more sanctions against Russia. Bureau Report, India Today.